Hey, my friend. Welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic. I am so blessed and honored to be with you today to share this Sidereal Astrology Forecast for the week of June 9th through the 15th. So, welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic, where we blend strategy and soul work to help you build a soul aligned life and business that fully supports your soul's mission. If we have not met yet, I am Danie C. Muniz, creator of the Inner Alchemy Method, a 4-stage journey to soul-led sovereignty, where deep healing meets embodied leadership. I guide high achieving spiritual women to reclaim their power, embody their truth, and lead from within. I am ready to dive in, my friend. So I'm going to go ahead and do my favorite thing, which is to share my screen so we can start the state of the planet. As we do that, I'm going to remind you that we do have our June overview. So in this video, we're going to go through just this week, June 9th through the 15th. However, we do have the full June overview that you can find on the channel. Make sure it's linked here and down below in the description box, as well as you can find it here on the channel under Sidereal Astrology Forecast, that playlist. You can find all of the forecasts there. And if you're like, wait, what is going on here? Because you're listening to me on the Cosmic Mystic podcast, then come on over to YouTube. Or if you're on YouTube and you're like, wait, I just want to listen to this, then come on over to the podcast. You can find the links down in the description box. The Cosmic Mystic podcast does have more than on the YouTube channel here. We've got interviews with amazing souls. We've got other teachings, readings that I've done on there, and soon to come other coaching as well. So let's dive into our state of the planet. All right, here we go. We kick off this week, June 9th, 2025, with our sun right here at 24 degrees Taurus. We are beginning this week in Taurus. We are ending this week in Gemini. So the sun is going to move out of Taurus this week in Sidereal Astrology. We have been moving through Taurus season, my friend, right? And we are going to move out of that this week and move into Gemini. It's going to change a bit. We've also got Jupiter and Mercury here, who happen to be conjunct. Jupiter and Mercury both in Gemini. And you'll see towards the end of the week, we're going to see these guys closer together. We've also got Uranus over here in Taurus at 4 degrees. Venus over here at 9 degrees, Chiron at 1 degree Aries. Both of those are in Aries. We've got Neptune and Saturn conjunct, both in Pisces, and we've been following these guys for a bit. Our North Node is in Aquarius, 29 degrees. Pluto over here, still in retrograde, in Capricorn, 9 degrees. We've got our moon kicking off this week in Scorpio. And we've got our South Node over here in Leo. We've got Mars, who moved into Leo last week. So there's everybody. We've got everybody doing their thing. So let's talk about our sun and some of the things that we are seeing with our sun this week. Now, we are going to have this, sextile to Chiron coming in. It's actually late Tuesday, the 10th, and this will be through the 23rd. So for about 13 days or so, we're going to see this sextile here. So what does the sun sextile mean? What does that aspect bring to the sun? And this is going to be, remember, as it's moving out of Taurus into Gemini. Chiron is our wounds. It's our deepest wounds. It's often called the wounded healer. And so when it is connected to the sun in this particular way, it really is helping us bring forward some of those wounds, bring forward some of the things that may be holding us back, and bring them into a new light. Let us move through them. Let us bring power to them, bring them into consciousness with them. in this particular case, because we are also talking about the sun, it is also a really beautiful time for you to kind of step into more of yourself and allow yourself to bring up these insecurities, the losses, the trauma, the wounds that we have in a really like we have this desire and this pull to do it and to look at it in a different way. And so I'm going to allow you as we move through this, especially with this full moon that we're going to talk about in a bit in Scorpio, there might be some things that are there's some light being shed on some things. And I'm going to ask you, my friend, to allow yourself to move through them, not get stuck in them, not get moved into a state of frustration or worry that this is the way it's going to be. This is again, this too shall pass, right? This is just a transit, it's a moment, it's an opportunity more than anything. All right, let's move on to the next one that I want to talk about, which is the sextile over here to Mars. Now, this one's going to be here for about a month because we're going to see this all the way through July. What I love about this one is that just as Chiron is helping us move through some of the woundings, the insecurities, Mars is here to boost that confidence, boost that courage, boost our vitality, our strength. So this is really good for tackling some of those bigger ideas, bigger projects, especially in the healing realm, where maybe you put things off. This is kind of giving you that drive and motivation to like, okay, let me work through this, let me do this, and having that confidence that you can do it. There's a little bit more directness here with Mars, much more self-assertive, much more direct, a lot of energy. Let me just say that a lot of energy, a lot of primal energy can come forward too. So with that primal energy, I want you to be mindful of the desires that you have and how they may be pulling forward and pulling you to things. Okay. We can use that to our advantage so that we're being pulled to the things that we want and that we desire. And we can also be pulled to the things that we necessarily don't want, right? Which is why we do that inner work. So we can understand who is leading, who is the authority. And I've been saying this quite a bit recently, which is who is that inner authority? Who is leading? And I'm talking about from within, right? Who is leading from within? What aspect of you is leading? What belief is leading you? And that, my friend, that is everything, because when we know what is leading us, we can definitely take a look at why and be able to resolve that and get the right belief. And I'm using this in quotations here if you can't see me, the right belief, because I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong, but I think there is something that is more beneficial for us, right? So we can move towards this right belief and allow it to express, right? So if you don't know what is leading you, look at what's going on in your life. Bob Proctor used to say that all the time, was like, if you don't know what your belief is, look at your life, look at your results, look at what's going on. That's a really good indicator of what belief is driving. Okay, so let's keep moving on, chucking on down the road. All right. So next we're going to talk about our sun, who is going to move into Gemini. So Gemini season is coming, my friend. Happy birthday to the Geminis. This is your time. So first, a couple of things about Gemini. First off, Gemini is an air sign. So when we're talking about air signs, we are talking about a lot of thought, a lot of thinking. We're talking about a lot of the more mental energy when we look at air signs. This Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. So Mercury is that planet that rules over communication. It rules over our thinking, how we process information. It rules over short travel and neighborhoods, like your neighbors, as well as your siblings. So your brothers and sisters, right? And this is what's called a mutable sign, which is what gives Gemini its really beautiful flavor of being able to adapt and be flexible. Now, some people might call that wishy-washy. Some people might call that two-faced, because the symbol for Gemini is the twins, right? And so it's being able to see these different perspectives, these different sides, the mirrors of ourself. And so, Gemini does kind of get that bad rap for being adaptable and flexible and, like a shapeshifter in many ways, right? Where it can adapt to its environment. And so, this is something that you might find yourself being able to do if you're somebody who maybe isn't as flexible or isn't as adaptable. You will find that you might be able to do that a little bit more during the season, whether you're a sun in Gemini, moon in Gemini, rising Gemini, or have a prominent energy in your chart in Gemini. You'll find that you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to use that, if anything, right? We are the magician, right? We are the mystic. We're able to move the energies in a way that work for us, right? And so that's one thing I would recommend, my friend, is use these as I'm talking about these things. Use these, right? Use it to your advantage. Now, the one thing that for me, as somebody who is an earth sign, that can definitely struggle during air seasons is there is a lot of mental activity. There's a lot of thought, there's a lot of thinking. And so you might find yourself scattered all over the place, not being able to focus on one thing. One of the things I always say with Gemini, it's important to ground your energy. It's important to do your practices, my friend. I know it's difficult, especially for me as somebody who is an earth sign. So if you are an earth sign or have a lot of earth energy, Gemini or air seasons in general can be a little bit tougher for us. If you're a fire sign, this might be a little bit easier for you. Water sign, this might be a little bit tough for you as well. So use whatever sign you are, whatever you are, use it, because we all have this Gemini energy here and we learn to work with it. So because I know personally that Gemini season can be rough for me because there's a lot of thinking and there's a lot of thoughts and I get distracted and I can't focus, I make sure that I put things in place, right? I make sure that I sit down and that I allow myself to ground myself in. I use essential oils. Like I use a lot of the tree oils to really root me down. Cedarwood, tea tree, really to root me down. One of my favorites is patchouli to ground me in so that I am not only doing this on a mental level, I'm doing this on a physical level, right? I'm allowing myself to move through the thoughts. I don't get frustrated with myself when I feel like I'm all over the place with things. I understand that that's going to happen, and I put things in place to help me, right? So if that is you, I would recommend it, right? We don't want to say, well, oh, well, forget this season because I can't do anything, right? Well, what can I do, right? Short, quick tasks are usually the best things to do because you're just getting them out. So if there's little projects that you're needing to finish or wrap it up, this is a great time to do it. So some of the other things with Gemini is that it's a very communicative sign. It loves to talk, it loves to share, and it is very curious. So it's almost as if it loves to like go and learn, whether it's chatting with somebody and you're learning about something, and then you're going to another somebody else, and then you're chatting with them, you're sharing that information, or you're receiving more information, and then you go to somebody else. I often call Gemini the social butterfly. It loves to learn information. And when you think of it from that standpoint, it's not that it's gossipy. It's not that it's, wanting to get all the dirt, right? It wants information. It is curious. Now, can we go on that lower vibration of communication and be in that drama and like all of that? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we can also take it into conversations that are really building us up and really supporting our dreams and our future and building relationships, right? So again, you can use this energy is here for you, my friend. You get to use it. Throat chakra is something that I would work with during this time as we're talking about communication and speaking and sharing, right? All of this is really, really good here. So working with the throat chakra would be ideal. And I do have a a ritual that you can do in the spring guidebook that has a throat chakra ritual that you can do, or working with the throat chakra. So if you haven't downloaded that spring guidebook, you can go ahead and look down below in the description. You'll see the spring guidebook. You can go to thepeaceteacher.com/guidebook and you'll get it right there. So some of the key words here with Gemini are curious, inquisitive, articulate, versatile, open-minded, adventurous, manipulative, impatient, restless, scatterbrained, and talkative. If you know a Gemini, you're probably like, yep. Or if you're a Gemini, you're probably like, yep. This is what happens during Gemini season. So I want you to keep this in mind, because when the sun moves through this part of the sky, this energy is amplified for us. That's what this means, right? Gemini season is this energy is amplified for us, and we can work with it. We'll see a difference from Taurus season that was very grounded, very like, oh, let's just chill, let's just slow it down. Gemini is going to speed it up. And if we think about this, Gemini season happens during the summer solstice, meaning that the summer season is beginning. And what do we do during the summer season? I say this every year. We go out, we're social, we're communicative, we want to be around people, we want to learn things, we want to socialize. This is Gemini energy. All right, my friend, there is one more thing I want to talk about with our sun before we move on. So let me share my screen once again, and we'll take a look at that chart for our week. All right, and that last one here is coming in on the 15th, which is Sunday. And you can see right there, we are at 0 degrees. Oh, I didn't say that, but we move into Gemini season on the 14th in the afternoon. So afternoon, you'll see it's at 29 degrees here. Within that next hour or two, it is going to shift into Gemini. So late afternoon on the 14th. Okay, so here on the 15th, though, we've got the sun and it's square over here to Saturn. So this is going to be here until the 28th of June. Now, some of the challenges with the sun and Saturn is difficulties and restrictions, which can lead to like that feeling of having a dark cloud, pessimism, depression. It's like, nothing's working out. Nothing's working in my favor. Nothing's like, it's all bad, right? Negative, 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 negative Nelly, right? Negative Nelly comes to town. One of the really beautiful things, though, is that there is this energy towards achieving something, doing something. That achievement, though, might be coming through having to overcome something, having to like feeling really burdened by something and having to overcome it. So in many ways, this is a really beautiful test of our character and character building, right? You've had those character building moments or events in your life. It's almost as if those are the things that tend to happen with this particular aspect. So you might feel some criticism or demanding or pressure from people who are maybe in a position of authority or have authority over you in some way, maybe like a boss, or maybe there's somebody who is an authority figure in your life. It can feel like they're putting a pressure on you, and it's just like getting more and more, or you might feel rejected and you're going to want to isolate. So I want you to keep this in mind, because as we're moving into Gemini season and everything's like, yeah, let's go, let's have fun, let's go do things, right? Because it's a very social energy. This particular aspect might be like, yeah, no, I'm just going to stay home. Just going to stay home and Netflix it, right? Or Hulu it. Patience, my friend. Patience, determination, and allowing yourself to know that this too shall pass. Again, you're going to, like every time we talk about these energies, I'm always going to say that this too shall pass. It's a transit. It's a moment. Use it, right, to notice things. Use it to know like, how can I overcome this, right? Not like, how come it's not working out for me? Your questions matter. The questions you ask yourself make Like everything, my friend. So if you're asking yourself, like, why is this happening to me? Why is this always happening to me? Why does this always happen to me? Right? If you keep saying that, it's going to keep continuing. Change that story, change that languaging to say, how can I use this? How can I use this to my advantage? How can I use this in my favor? How can I work with this? Right? Where we push away the negativity around it and we say, how can I work with this? Right? Okay, let's move on to our next big event that we have this week, which is our full moon. So, our full moon is taking place back over here on the 11th, right here, and it's at 2:44 a.m. So this is on Wednesday. You'll see it right here at 26 degrees. All right. So there's a couple of things that we can see that is happening with the moon. We've got a trine over here to Chiron, the opposition to the sun, the trine over here to Mars, and then we've got the square to the nodes. So the theme of this particular full moon, because anytime we have a full moon, we have the theme of the moon, meaning the zodiac sign that it's in, which in this case it's Scorpio. And anytime we talk about Scorpio, we're talking about that death and rebirth energy, right? We're talking about the energy of transformation, of something dying off or something new to be reborn. So whenever we have our full moon in Scorpio, my friend, we are going to see some type of death. We're going to see something releasing, something letting go, something transforming, right? Which is what we desire, right? Don't we desire to be better versions of ourselves? Then of course. So I would say, wouldn't you want this, right? Wouldn't you want this? It's not always easy though. It's not always the simplest transformation. It's not magical and beautiful, right? No, it can be horrible. It can be life shattering. It can be huge. And so this particular one though, with those aspects that we saw, this is a death of who you thought you had to be, who you thought you had to be, who you thought you had to be, so that your true power, your true soul power can claim its rightful place in the world, can claim its mission, can claim what it came here to do. So, this is a really beautiful moment here for you to shed an identity, to shed an aspect of you that is outdated, that is no longer who you truly are, so that we can reclaim more of who we are. Because now, for some of you, you're like, I already know myself, Danie. I already know who I am. I know all of this. I'm so happy for you. Like me too. Like yes, let's do this. But there are still aspects of me that are not where I want to be. There's still a part of me that is holding myself back in some way. There's still an identity that I am attached to that is not allowing me to get to the next level that I desire. That part of me, it's time to say goodbye to. Who I had to be. And for those of you, if you want to think about it from this standpoint, who did you think you had to be in business? Let that version of you go, that version of you that is limiting you, that version of you that you thought you had to do all these things, right? You had to do this, you had to look like this, you had to do things in this way. Let that go and allow yourself to be who you truly are. Allow your true soul business essence to come through. And if you're not sure what that is, sit with your business. Sit with your business and ask, who do I need to be? So those are some questions you can ask yourself is who do I need to be? Or what parts of me are ready to come out? What parts of me are ready to come forward so that I can express my true soul power, my true power. So this full moon is like that, a bit of a phoenix moment here, my friend, where that transformation through truth becomes your greatest advantage. So use this time to step into that new version of you. So you might ask, what parts of my identity need to die? do I need to say goodbye to for my true power to be reborn? What parts of my business identity need to die or need to let go, or do I need to say goodbye to so that my true power in business can be reborn? Tap into the versions of you who have already done this, my friend, because there are versions of you in whether it's past life or in this particular uh, existence that are building the business at the level that you desire or has the life that you desire. Tune into that version of you so you can. So there's a couple of themes here that I'm going to invite you to explore. Now, we have all of this inside the June lunar journal. So I'm actually going to share my screen and I'm going to show you because I absolutely love this journal and I think you're going to love it too, my friend. In the inside this lunar journal, we have a little bit about this particular full moon. I talk a little bit about some of the things. I give you some of these questions that we've talked about. And then we've got these themes: soul contract recalibration, wounded healer activation, sacred rage as fuel, depth over surface, and financial shadow work. So we've got some journal prompts for you where you can, for each one of these themes that you can go through, you can pick one of the themes. Maybe you're like, oh, the wounded healer sounds like that's the one I want to explore, and you can answer these journal prompts. If you're like, there's multiple, Danie, there's a couple of those that I really resonated with, then you can do more than one. But I would highly recommend you download this journal. It's absolutely free. You can go to thepeaceteacher.com, see peaceteacher.com / I think it's journal. It'll be down in the show notes, or the description box as well. But yeah, check this out. I love it. There's a lot in here. It's about 50 pages. And then we also have the new moon here. So we'll talk about the new moon when the new moon comes, but go and download that. It's down below in the description box, my friend. So we're talking about soul contract recalibration, wounded healer activation, sacred rage, depth over surface, and financial shadow work. So you can see that all through those questions and through those themes. All right, let's dive in because this is a powerful one. I want to make sure that you are definitely in the know of what is happening and being able to bring that stuff forward, because as you saw, we have such great energy right now to really allow ourselves to bring this forward. So let's do that. Let's move through it so that we can be the better version or the best version of ourselves. Okay. Moving on, Mercury, we don't really have anything new coming in here this week with Mercury. We still have that conjunction over to Jupiter. We've still got the sextile over to Venus. We've also got the squares to Saturn and Neptune. And so you can see we still have a lot of that going on. And some of those are going to fall off in a couple of days. In particular, that Mercury conjunct Jupiter is going to fall off. And then we also have, like this will fall off on the 11th. We've also got the square to Saturn that's going to fall off on the 11th. And then we've got Neptune's going to fall off on the 13th. So these are going to shift out this week. The one I did want to talk about, which is Mars. Mars moved into Leo. So Mars did move into Leo last week. It moved out of Cancer and it moved into Leo, and it's going to be in Leo through July 28th. So pretty much all through June and most of July. So Leo moves into, you know, moves into Leo, which is from Cancer. It did not like being in Cancer. It did not like being in Cancer because it was very emotional. It would just get stuck in all that emotion. But Mars in Leo is heart-centered and expressive, right? It wants to express. It wants to be seen, heard, understood, right? And so with Mars here, with that motivation, it's going to push our confidence into this really beautiful action oriented state. So, if whatever it is that we're wanting to do, it's going to bring us that confidence and the desire to actually do something about it. It's one thing to be like, oh, yeah, I want to do this. Like, I'm ready to walk 10,000 steps every single day, and then not have the motivation to do it. Well, now we've got that confidence that, yes, I can do it. Yes, I want to do it. And that energy to really move us into doing that. So it shifts really from being more of a fear based kind of idea, because with Cancer, it can definitely get into that realm, to more confidence, right? I can do this. I'm creating this. I'm doing this and taking that action. So we've got a lot of bravery here. So pursue those things that you have been kind of putting off, or you're like, I'm not ready. I don't know if I can do it. Use this energy right here to like, yes, I can do it. Yes, I'm going to make that call, to apply for that speaking opportunity, or yes, I'm going to get back to that person about that podcast, or yes, I'm going to go to that networking event and meet new people, or whatever it might be for you, my friend. What is the thing, right? What is the thing that you want to do that you can take center stage, right? That's Leo energy. Leo is center stage. It wants to be seen, it wants to be heard, and it wants to be understood. So, how can you put yourself in those positions, right? To be seen, to be heard, and to be understood. All right, the very last thing is, we do still have it. I do want to remind you, because it is going to fall off this week, but that is that energy with Venus and Pluto. So this one has been a tough one, because this has been bringing in a lot of power and a lot of ultimatums, maybe even some threats, some possessiveness. Jealousy is huge with Venus and Pluto. So this is coming off at the end of the week on Saturday. So we'll see this finally fall off. So thank goodness for that, right? All right, my friend, that wraps us up for this week's Sidereal Astrology, from June 9th through the 15th. Again, if you want more of this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We put out the weekly forecast every single week, and we have the June overview forecast that you can watch to get the whole view of the month. Be sure to download that June lunar journal, that has those prompts for you with those themes that you can explore for yourself to see what is ready to move forward, what identity or what belief, what version of you is ready to let go under this full moon. All right, my friend, until next time, enjoy your day, and remember to keep shining your unique light.